Question 16 is a speed, distance, time question. Okay, so our clues for it being a speed, distance, time question, as we can see, Savio leaves his house at 7:30, so we've got some time in there to drive to work. He drives a distance of 50 miles. Savio thinks he drives at an average speed of 40 miles per hour. If Savio is correct, at what time will he arrive at work? Okay, so as soon as we see these keywords, the speed, distance, time, that's when we know we should be writing down our speed, distance, time formula. So there's a few ways of trying to remember this. So some people will just remember the main formula. So speed is distance divided by time. And then from there, you can manipulate it and change it so that you can get different ones. So like this one, we need the time. So some people would then go and say, okay, we want time. So let's take that across. So speed times time gives me the distance. And that means if I take the speed across, what I'm going to get is time is equal to the distance divided by the speed. Okay, so some people would remember it like this. They might remember the main formula and then work down to get the one that you need. So this one, we need the time. Another way that lots of people remember it is you can use one of these triangles. So you could say, so it's a triangle like this. So speed, distance, time. So you just remember what it looks like. You would draw it on your paper. And then we could say whatever we needed here. So on this one, we want the time. So we ignore the time and we say time is distance divided by speed. So it's just whatever's left over. Time is distance at the top divided by speed at the bottom. Okay, so whichever way works for you, you are going to get a mark just for being able to put down this formula. So it's really important that you know it. So let's have a go at working this one out. We've got our formula now. Now we can get into it. So Savio, we want to work out first of all, how much time did it take to get to work? So we are going to say his time is equal to his distance, which was 50 miles, divided by his speed, which was 40 miles per hour. Okay, and what we are going to get is that we are going to work out, okay, 50 divided by 40. This is a non-calculated paper. So I would simplify that then and say 50 divided by 40. We could cancel those. Okay, so we were dividing it by 10. So we end up with 5/4. And then you might automatically know that this is 1.25. But if you don't, what you're going to have to do is work out with the division here. So you would have, let's just make a little block here for some space. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to say 5 divided by 4. We know it's going to be a decimal, or we think it's going to be a decimal. So we're going to add in decimal place straight away and some zeros. And then how we work this out is we always say, how many times can 4 fit into 5? So it can fit into 5 one time, and there's a remainder of 1. How many times can 4 fit into 10? So the 1 and the 0. So it fits into 10 twice. And there's 2 leftovers, or 2 remainders. And then how many times can 4 fit into 20? The 2 and the 0. It goes into 25 times. Okay, so 1.25. So that is our division that we have to do there to get this answer. So this is now 1.25 hours to get to work. What we then need to do is work out how long is that actually. So I don't know what 0.25 hours is. So we would have to then work out, let's see. Okay, so we've got 1.25 hours. So we know this 1 is just 1 hour. That's fine. Let's work out this 0.25. Okay, so 0.25 hours, what we would have to do is we would have to multiply this by 60 to get how many minutes that is. Okay, so when we are multiplying with decimals, what I like to do, my answer is going to have 2 decimal places, but in the meantime, I can just ignore the decimals. So I'm just going to multiply normally. I'm just going to say 60 times 25. And I usually use the column method, but whatever method works for you, you do that one. Okay, so we're going to set it out like that. And then we say, okay, 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 6 is 30. Then next up, I'm in the tens column, so I'm going to add a 0, and then I'm going to say 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 6 is 12. We can then add these up. So 0 and 0 is 0. 0 and 0 is 0. 3 and 2 is 5. And then 1. Okay, and then remember, we were multiplying with decimals. So I had 2 decimal places in my question, so I need 2 decimal places in my answer. So you always just start from the back and jump 2 spots. Okay, so that means that this 0.25 hours is actually 15 minutes. Okay, so that is important for us. So it means Savio takes 1 hour and then 15 minutes to get to work. We are now going to use this because even though we have done a lot of work, we still need to put this into our answer. So he takes 1 hour and 15 minutes to get to work. So he leaves at 7:30. We want to know what time will he get there. So he leaves at 7:30 plus 1 hour is going to be 8:30 plus 15 minutes is going to be 8:45. And we assume it's AM because it's in the morning. And that is how we do that one. Next up, in fact, Savio's average speed was greater than 40 miles per hour. So actually he was going faster than that. So how does this affect your answer to part A? So actually, Savio would have gotten there before 8:45 because if he was going faster, his speed was faster, he would have gotten there sooner. So Savio would have taken less time. So he would have gotten to work or you could have just said he would have been quicker, he would have gotten there sooner. Okay, something like that, just so we can get all the marks. I really hope this helps. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions.